If you were to ask any Genshin player what's the most useful, what's the most worthwhile, what's the most bang for the buck 4-star character in the game that's been there since the beginning, I think everybody would say Bennett. Now, people slept on Bennett in the beginning and didn't see his full potential and his full value, but he turned out to be an amazing unit that kinda carried a lot of our teams throughout the game. Now, you might be asking yourself, does Zenless Zone Zero have an equivalent of Bennett? And I'm happy to tell you, it does. It freaking does, and I'm here to tell you that you should not be sleeping on her. Let me introduce Luciana de Montifio, or as we all know her, Lucy. Now, Lucy is an amazing unit that buffs your entire team and has an amazing fighting style and just amazing animations overall. She is the only summoner character in the game. Well, you might be able to count Rena into that, but Lucy's summons are more autonomous, and she basically summons an army of pigs. She has 3 pigs, and they all act independently, and they go to war with the enemies, and it just looks freaking goddamn amazing. So, what sets Lucy apart from other supports is that other supports such as Sokaku and Rena, they boost specific elements. Rena buffs electric, Sokaku buffs ice. Meanwhile, Lucy buffs attack, which makes her a much more universal support to use. Since you can put Sokaku into any team, but if you're not having her on an ice team, half of Sokaku's value or half of Sokaku's buff is not being taken care of, or it's not being used. So yeah, some of her value is lost. Go into her skill and we press on the core skill. The core passive Crimson Main Guard. When Lucy uses her special attack or EX special attack, a guard boar will join the battle and call in 2 other guard boars. So when you use your skill, whether you have energy enough to make it an EX special or use normal, the boars will always spawn. And this is how you want to be starting every fight with Lucy. The guard boars inherit Lucy's attack and impact. Now, this is very important. The sheer on buff for the guard boars is increased to 160% of the original effect, and their attack frequency is increased. Now, this one increases with the core skill level, which are basically these ones that you level up. And the sheer on buff is what makes Lucy so gosh darn freaking good. And her additional ability, Batter Up. When another character in your squad shares the same attribute or faction, the guard boars inherit Lucy's crit rate and crit damage. So when Lucy's paired up with another fire unit or another unit from the same faction, and right now the only unit from the Sons of Caledon is Piper. So it's Lucy and Piper in that faction. Lucky, those happen to be the 2 best 4-stars in the game. And when it comes down to Lucy's skills, there's one that is particularly important, or there's actually 2. But when it comes to priority, you want to prioritize leveling the special attack, because this is where her attack buff is set at. Now, she basically takes up her baseball bat and does a swing with one of the pig, and yeah, uses one of the pig as a baseball and hits the enemy with it. Now, if it turns into a EX attack, Sheeron buff will be applied to your entire team, including her piggies and your Bangboos. So let's read on Sheeron. After using EX special attack, when a guard boar triggers an explosion, it will apply the Sheeron status to all allies, Bangboo and the guard boars themselves. Now remember, the Sheeron effect is even stronger on the boar. So I think at the last level, the boars get, the Sheeron effect is actually 200, which is crazy because you have 3 of them, right? So let's go back there. While under the Sheeron status, allies attack is increased by 21%, and this is because it's at level 11. I think it goes up to 25 at the very max. Of Lucy's attack, plus 84 up to a maximum of 600. The Sheeron status lasts for 10 seconds when a line drive is hit. So a line drive is when you just click the button. And 15 seconds when a fly ball is hit. Fly ball is the EX attack when you hold the button. And the EX attack when you hold it obviously takes a little bit longer, but the buff lasts for 5 more seconds. I would say always try and go for the holding of it, because the extra 5 seconds are worth it. Repeated triggers resets the duration, which basically means that if you reapply the buff, it doesn't stack. It just goes back to being 15 seconds again. So that's her special attack. Now the other skill you should be leveling is her basic attack, because if we go into stats, we will see that the guard boars damage actually scales with Lucy's basic attack stat. So if you want more damage on the boars, well, put points into basic attack. And now this is not because Lucy is going around basic attacking, this is because the boar's basic attack is Lucy's basic attack. So more damage on the boars, you level the basic attack. Other than that, you shouldn't really worry too much. Lucy's ultimate is a walk-off home run. It's a big... She basically shoots a very powerful boar, does a big fire damage explosion, and regenerates energy for the entire squad. Now, if you are planning on using Lucy as the ultimator of your team, you might want to level this one. It also increases chain attack, which I guess is decent, but prioritize skill first, basic attack second. The ultimate, if you're planning on using it. After that, the assist is alright, and at the very least, dodge. Like, Lucy is a very long-range character. You won't be doing much dodging with her anyway. So that is her skills. And upgrading the core skill enhancement increases her base attack. And it also increases her base energy regen, which is very handy. Sometimes it requires a lot of energy to keep this buff open or keep this buff active on your team. Certain cinemas will help with this, and we're gonna jump into that in just a second. And interesting to note is that the Sharon buff for the guard boars is increased with every core level, and also their attack frequency. So her core skills actually gives her boars attack speed. Very, very nifty to use. Next, let's head over to Lucy's cinemas. Now, Lucy is good used base kit, but a lot of the cinemas really help out her role as a support. Now, the first one, when the guard boars launch guard boar spinning swing. So the boars basically have different moves that they can do. Lucy recovers 2 energy. This effect can trigger once every 15 seconds, with each guard boar having its own separate cooldown. Oh, this obviously goes a long way to having Lucy get her energy back and being able to use her skill more often and keeping a more consistent uptime on her buff. And C2, Little Boar Captain. When Lucy uses a chain attack or ultimate, it grants all squad members, Bangboos, and the guard boars the sheer on status for 10 seconds. Oh, this one is actually really freaking good. Really goddamn amazing. So, chain attack happens when you hit certain moves on stunned enemies. Oh, normally Lucy can only apply this Sharon buff with her EX skill. With this, she can also do it with her chain attack or ultimate, which very much of her buff. The third one just increases special attack, assist, and sheer attack with 2 levels. Number 4, you have, while in the sheer on state, allies crit damage is increased by an additional 10. So, with this one, she becomes a little bit better and gives a little bit of crit damage, not bad at all. 5, just standard, you basic attack, dodge, special attack, and chain attack, extra 2 levels. Now we know that basic attack level increases the boar's damage, so not bad at all. Now, the 6th one, as you can probably tell, I have them all. I gotten super lucky with getting Lucy. She's one of the few 4 stars I've actually managed to max out. When an ally in the Sharon state hits an enemy with an EX special attack, a guard boar will drop from the sky and cause an explosion, dealing fire damage equal to 300% of the guard boar's attack. This is amazing. This will extend the duration of the Sharon buff for all squad members by 5 seconds. The duration can increase up to 3 times. So with this, you can actually double the long duration of her Sharon effect. Remember, it used to be 15 seconds. If you hit 3 special attacks, EX special attacks, while the Sharon effect is applied, you will double the duration with a maximum duration of 30 seconds. Refreshing the Sharon state resets the stack count. After the guard boar's explosion, it will launch guard boar's spinning swing. Spinning swing was what gave her back energy from her C1. So this is very cool, and I actually have an entire video just showcasing this, especially with Piper and what's her name? Piper and Corin, whose special attacks, whose EX special attacks actually does several hits. And yes, that does result in like 10 boars coming down, and it's actually really fun and like really freaking bananas. Probably one of the best C6s in the freaking game. Now, for Lucy's equipment, I've been going with Kaboom the Cannon, which is her 2nd best one. It is her signature one. You can tell if you go into an hunt, and if it comes up with a portrait of them and a little bit of flavor text at the bottom, you know that you have the signature one. However's designed this one with the character in mind. Now, this one is very freaking good. It has energy reading as the advanced stat on it, which is good for Lucy. When any friendly unit in the squad attacks and hits an enemy, all friendly units attack increases by 4% for 8 seconds. So this is 18% more damage. When it's fully stacked, stacking up to 4 times, the duration of each stack is calculated separately, and each friendly unit can provide 1 stack of the buff. Now, Lucy has 3 pigs, right? And each pig counts as a friendly unit. So your 3 pigs will be keeping this one up, no problem at all. And then whatever active character you're having will supply the the 4th buff. Now, this is a really, really freaking goddamn amazing one. Amazing one. If you do not have this one, but you've gotten lucky enough to have Rena's signature one, Weeping Cradle, this one is even better. While off-field, the equipper's energy reading increases by 0.6. Attacks when the equipper enhances the squad's damage against a struck target by 10% for 3 seconds. During this period, this effect is further increased by 1.7% every 0.5 seconds, up to a maximum additional increase of 10.2. Repeat the triggers only refresh this duration without refreshing the damage increase effect. So this one is arguably even better, but much harder to get a hold of. So if you have the Kaboom the Cannon, I'd say go for that. 100% go for that. If not, Slice of Time is a good one. It's a good one that works until you get one of the other ones. It's not bad at all. I would say don't bother with the 3-star ones. Like if you're gonna use Lucy, get a Slice of Time. You can get it at the W store on the 7th Street. Now for her disc, we're gonna have to pop to the shop since I do not have those discs yet. We're still very much early on in the game and there's a lot of characters to build. For the most bang for the buck, you either go 4 pieces Hormone Punk, which gives you an increase to 10% damage. Now, Lucy's buff scale of damage and her pig scale of her... Oh, sorry. Her buff scales of her attack and the pigs inherits her attack, yeah? Put in and 4 pieces. Upon entering combat or switching in, its user's attack increases by 25% for 10 seconds. This effect can trigger once every 20 seconds. Now, this is very, very, very freaking good because this will increase her attack and make her buff even better. I say this one is good if you're not already capped out at the max attack that the Sharon status can provide, which caps out at 600. If you're capped out, I would instead recommend you go for Swing Jazz. Energy reading increases by 20% and 4 pieces. Launching a chain attack or ultimate increases all squad members' damage by 15% for 12 seconds. The effect of the same name does not stack. Now, late game Lucy, this is gonna be the absolute best one to have a 4-piece of, since you will be maxed out with how much the Sharon effect actually does provide, but this is an additional buff put on top of that. So like think Noblesse Oblige from Genshin. This one is good. So 4 pieces of Swing Jazz in that case and 2 pieces of Hormone Punk. You can also go 2 pieces Woodpecker Electro, increases crit rate by 8% if you run her together in a team where her Batter Up, I think it's called, where her passive ability where she's paired up with a friend, where that is activated, so her pigs also get her crit rate and her crit damage. Those are definitely gonna be the best ones. And until you have Swing Jazz, a substitute is 4 pieces of Hormone Punk and 1 piece of Woodpecker, if you have enough to, or if her passive is active. Other than that, I would go 4 pieces Hormone Punk and 2 pieces Swing Jazz. But yeah, Swing Jazz is gonna be better overall, 4 pieces, and then 2 pieces either Hormone or Woodpecker. And as for team building, as I mentioned in the beginning, Lucy is super, super versatile because she doesn't buff a single element. She instead gives the entire team attack, which is very, very good. Now, I put together at like top 3 teams, and Lucy actually has a place in one of them. This is right now, in my opinion, the second strongest team in the freaking game. Nekomata, Lucy, and Piper. Super, super freaking good. Super, just so much damage. Lucy Nekomata is the main carry. Lucy provides the buff, and Piper supplies assault to get Nekomata going. Another version you can do is slap in the lesser Nekomata, but nonetheless, like, less fun. This is like a passion team I've been running lately that is like so much freaking fun. Corin, Lucy, Piper, and it just works wonders, and it's very much of it is because I have C6 Lucy. So, as I said before, Corin and Piper, their EX special attack hits a billion times, and it's super fun. The pigs just never stop raining down on the enemy. Super freaking fun, super nice. If I had Soldier 11, which is the only 5-star character I don't possess currently, a team could look like this. Now imagine the empty spot being Soldier 11. You have your Thunder in Khalida and you have your support in Lucy. Yeah, Lucy is super freaking versatile. She fills the support roles perfectly. As of right now, since she is a fire character, and her team building can be a little bit limited if you still want the boar buff, like the one that makes them inherit the crit rate and crit damage. She only has 1 faction teammate, which is Piper. But as the roster grows and as the factions get more fleshed out, it's gonna be easier to fit Lucy into a team without having to sacrifice her passive ability. Even without her passive ability, like the passive ability only really matters for her own personal damage of the bows. If you still like want a buff for your team, like, even if you can't get Lucy to work, say that your team would look like, say that you for some reason had Ellen, but you don't have a single Kokage or Sokage, you could go Ellen, Lucy, Lycon. Now it's very unlikely you have Lycon but not Sokage as well. Same with Rina, so who could we put here? Who could we put here? Just to show it off a slight bit. I don't know, for some reason, say that you want to run this team. Now, Lucy and Ben synergizes together with each other super well. They're both fire, so their passives will be up. Their passive will be up and running. Now, Ellen will be missing out on her passive, which is not recommended, although there are very few ice units in the team currently. So, but if you have Ellen, I'm assuming you at least have one copy of Sokage, and in that case, Sokage takes Lucy's place. And let's talk about the Bangboos. So Lucy's best Bangboo will be depending on which team you're planning on running Lucy in. In the Nekomata team, if you're gonna be running Nekomata, Lucy, and Pipe, the very best Bangboo would be Bang Volver, which is the one I have on my wishlist currently. Now this one activates if you have 2 or more physical attribute characters, which would then be Nekomata and Pipe. If you're planning on running Lucy with Soldier 11, Rocket Boo is gonna be your best S-rank Bangboo. It requires 2 fire characters in the team, and it's really good. For A rank, I would go for Boo Resher. Works kind of well if you haven't gotten many cinemas on your Lucy, you might be struggling a little bit with energy on her. Boo Resher helps provide some energy. If you can get Butler to work, it's also an S-rank Butler or an S-rank Bangboo that does work and does supply Lucy with energy. A-rank Bangboos, you could go Bangboo. There is not an A rank that boosts physical per se. Yeah, so if you're looking for a good A rank Bangboo, I would go Boo Resher. If you're gonna go the Soldier 11 team, Crybo works and increases fire damage. Is basically a worse Rocket Boo. If you're running with a stun unit, you could go Sumo Boo. But yeah, aim to get Bang Volver or Rocket Boo. That's my best advice. Let's move on. And we have enough energy now to do an EX attack, so that's what we're gonna be doing. So we hold our skill like this, boom, and you can see now in the top left corner, and if we look here in effective, that we now have increased our damage by 200, and same goes for the entire team, of course. Now, this effect is gonna be active for 15 seconds, but since we have C6, it's gonna be active for a whole lot longer. So let's start spinning with Piper and watch all the pigs falling down from the sky. Beautiful. Now let's do the same thing with Corrin. You can see under the portrait in the top left how much is left of the buff. And we can see that it's starting to become time to refill. So let's switch back to Lucy. Boom! Mind you, this team is a little bit underleveled for this challenge. I think everybody is like sitting at 40 and this boss is 45. It's gonna work out. And remember, we have her at C2, so we just reapplied the attack buff on her. Because her I think it is C2. Makes it so her chain attack also does apply the Sheeran effect. Now let's get to sawing. We still have enough left on our attack. On attack buffs, I wasn't gonna use it yet, but now we're full energy, so we might as well. And this enemy is weak to fire. And every enemy is also weak to pipe. Now you might be wondering why I'm not dodging as much as I might should. 1, I'm dog shit, and then 2, both Piper and Corrin gets damage reduction whenever they use their EX attack. So a lot of times it's just worth to tank the damage if you can. And finally, Lucy's ultimate, super stylish, super cool, pigs comes raining down from the sky. With the right cinema, it applies the Sheeran buff, and it gives energy for the entire team, and Lucy's them. What a way to end the guide. So that's everything that I wanted to cover about Lucy. Do not sleep on Lucy, she's absolutely freaking amazing, she's absolutely freaking busted. She works in so many teams, super versatile support, super fun to use, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, I've been getting comments that I speak too slow, so I've been trying to speed it up. English is my second language, so it's sometimes a little bit hard, but yeah, I hope I did an alright job, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative, but not too much, and yeah, all of that. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and hey, stick around for more. Until next time, Hako out.